Hello all and welcome back to another Hyperblue Reviews. Today I'm going to take a look at a game from the FPS genre. I'm not the best at FPS games, so much that I normally just ignore the genre altogether. I guess I'm just not the most coordinated when it comes to moving, aiming, and shooting. I'm not the worst, but I'm not the best either. Honestly, RPGs are more my speed. Either way, today's game, Island Saver, is an FPS where you don't have to accurately target things in order to progress. So Island Saver is a simplified first-person shooter where your main focus is picking up trash, cleaning up grime, and defeating litter bugs. It's a relaxing game that doesn't require a whole lot of effort to master. The game was developed by Stormcloud Games and published by National Westminster Bank. You heard that right. Island Saver was also released on a variety of platforms such as the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and even Steam. The best part about Island Saver? It's completely free. For this review, I'll be focusing on the PlayStation 4 version, but I think it's safe to say that the gameplay is similar on most platforms. All that being said, let's take a look at what Island Saver has to offer.
The story itself is relatively simple. You're a bionaut that's sent to the Savvy Islands in order to help restore them to their former glory. You see, when trash is dumped into the ocean, it all winds up on the Savvy Islands. The Savvy Islands used to be quite a beautiful place with a variety of exotic animals, but the garbage and grime drove everyone away. Once you arrive on the islands, you meet Kiwi, a talkative parrot, and you're off to the races as you begin to clean up the island. As you clean the island, you notice that the trees and other plants begin to regain their luster and begin to bear fruit and other items needed to feed the local animals. Speaking of, once the vegetation begins to return, the animals are not far behind. The animals, known as Bankimals, return with a drab color palette. They need to eat some of their favorite food in order to be restored to their former selves. Once you feed them, they balloon up and are bursting with money, hence Bankimals. You extract the money from them and return them to their normal selves. Once you collect enough money, you can unlock other sections of the island. Rinse and repeat, pun intended, until the entire island is restored. In addition to all the trash that's scattered about, the player also has to deal with litter bugs as well. These litter bugs are little troublemakers that like to spread their goop and drain the local area of its luster. There are also big litter bugs that are harder to take down, but all the litter bugs are easily dispatched by water. There are 3 islands being plagued by the litter bugs: the beach or jungle island, the frozen island, and the volcano island. It turns out that the litter bugs came through a portal on the volcano island. Not entirely sure why there's an interdimensional portal to a planet of filthy goopy creatures, but whatever. So yeah, like I mentioned previously, the game plays like an FPS, but there are some platforming elements to it as well. The control scheme is actually pretty easy to grasp. L2 actually sucks in trash or other goodies that are in the area. R2 fires whatever goodie or trash you have selected, as well as water. The X button is your jump button, and if you hold L3 and walk, you run. Clicking the touchpad opens up the player menu where you can access the bankable database and in-game store. Island Saver also features a pretty interesting banking and tax system. You know, for the kids. In all seriousness though, it is actually pretty clever. When you restore plants and bankimals, you receive coins. As you progress, you're able to store your coins in the local bank. You even have to create a PIN number to access other banks across the island. You can then earn interest on your coins that you have stored in your bank. In addition, once you progress a bit further, you begin to get visits from the taxman. The taxman takes every 10th coin you receive. When the taxman takes enough coins, you receive a tax coin. Tax coins are used for emptying out recycle bots, building bridges, and doing other things around the island. So it's like real life, except that the tax money is actually used for what it's supposed to be used for. Each island has several sections to unlock and explore. There are other things to do on the islands besides cleaning and feeding animals, such as bartering and selling seeds or fruit at local shops. The online shop that you can access through your computer gives you access to various seeds, party hats for the restored animals, upgrades for your blasters, and paintballs. And no worries, the paintballs are just used to recolor the happy animals. Nothing malicious, I promise. In addition to cleaning up the island and the fun things mentioned above, the game also features a loan system that helps the player purchase parts for their trash blaster, assuming that the player doesn't have any money. There are also different currencies that the animals drop. Island Saver really does a decent job explaining exchange rates, even down to the fluctuating rates. I'm actually being completely serious. The rates bounce around non-stop, and the player has to attempt to get the best exchange rate possible at the right time.
So the game has a very bright and vibrant color scheme, save for the litter bugs and dirt and grayed out animals when they first arrive. The animals are also cute, and it's fun to watch them roam around the island. The music is also very enjoyable as well. It may not be the most memorable, but it's actually pretty good for a free game. Although, to be fair, while I do enjoy the lax nature of this game, I do have a few criticisms.
So I mentioned earlier that Island Saver features platforming elements, and they are not very well implemented. It's hard to time your jumps in general given you can't see where your character is standing, but it's also hard to land for the same reason. I often found myself both overshooting the jump sometimes and missing the platform other times. However, if you fall in the water or lava, you just instantly respawn, so it's not really that big of a deal, but it does get annoying. The character also jumps very awkwardly, making it harder to get the higher sections of the island. Aside from that, the gameplay is really simple, but still fun to play. Aiming your blaster can be a bit of a chore, but I never got into too much trouble because of it. The gameplay does tend to get a bit repetitive though, so if repetition isn't your thing, then this game might not be a good fit for you. That being said, the game seems more geared towards kids anyway, so this should be right up their alley. Typically, the player cleans one section of the island, opens up a new area, cleans the new area, rinse and repeat. Same pun, still proud of it. Speaking of repetition, each island contains kiwi eggs for the player to find. There are 20 in all on each island. Finding them, though, nets 0 reward, besides for an in-game achievement. Island Saver doesn't feature voice acting, but with a free game, that kind of makes sense. There are only a handful of animals that speak to you anyway, as well as a few guide robots, so it kind of makes sense to not have voice acting. In lieu of spoken dialogue, all the characters make sounds like Banjo-Kazooie characters. One cool thing to note is that Island Saver features both in-game achievements to unlock as well as PlayStation trophies. All the trophies correlate to in-game achievements in some way, so earning one typically nets another. While I would have loved to have a bigger trophy list, I'm certainly not complaining because, well, I got a really good free game. I should also note that, even though the game is free, there is paid DLC that provides players with new levels. Apparently the money earned through the DLC is donated to various charities. Those charities are Special Effect and Young Money. Special Effect is a charity that specializes in helping physically disabled people, specifically children, to play games. If you'd like to learn more about Special Effect, I've included a link in the description. I can't really find much about Young Money in particular, but I believe it's related to the Money charity, which is also based in the UK. Assuming it's the same charity, the Money charity attempts to teach individuals on how to manage their money. Again, if you're interested to learn more about that charity, I've also included a link in the description. So if you like the first 3 islands, you'll probably love the DLC levels. One other thing to note, while the first 3 islands contain real animals, the DLC levels have fantasy-related animals and dinosaurs to restore.
So, all that being said, I really enjoyed Island Saver. It's something simple to sit down and unwind with. Plus, it's kid-friendly. My 6 and 3-year-old really enjoy watching the animals show up, eat their food, and occasionally fart. Toilet humor aside, it's an enjoyable experience, and it's completely free. Plus, if you decide to purchase the add-ons, you're helping out some charities. I give Island Saver 4 Trash Blasters out of 5. I hope you enjoyed this month's review. As always, thank you for watching.